Hello, ladies. This is Violet Lang, and I'm so excited to chat with you tonight about a really hot topic, which is, should you make the first move? I hear questions about this all the time, every day, when I'm talking to women who are really struggling with their love life. And we have so many mixed messages. We hear from some people, be in your feminine, don't make the first move, let him pursue you. We hear from other people like, be bold, be powerful, go for what you want. So oftentimes as a woman, we feel really stuck between two extremes. Being really passive and just being the damsel in distress and hoping that a guy rescues us. That's a little extreme, but that's one end of it. Or being the other end of the extreme, which is like, I'm a powerful woman, I can get whatever I want, I'm gonna go up and talk to anyone, I'm gonna ask for their number, I'm gonna ask them out, and I'm just gonna make it happen. And the truth is that it's important that we do make a decision. When we're going by, someone that we think is attractive, when we have the opportunity to stop and talk with them, or if we're at a party and we see someone really cute, or if we are, at a bar or at a restaurant and we notice someone that walks in the room, or even if we're online dating and we notice that there's a really great profile, we see someone and we think, well, should I message him or should I not message him? Should I just hope that he finds me and finds my profile? So it's important that we actually pay attention to all of these little moments in dating and in our love life where there is actually a decision to be made. Sometimes when you're on a date, it's the decision of, do I share something vulnerably or do I hide my truth? Do I express what I want and what I need, or do I feel like, oh, it's too forward, I can't really tell him what I want, or it's gonna scare him away? So throughout dating, from first glance to, first date to first milestone of becoming boyfriend, girlfriend, or even getting engaged or getting pregnant, or all of these beautiful things, there's tons of decisions, lots of micro decisions. And men have lots of decisions too. I mean, we in some ways as a society expect men to do the pursuing, expect men to do the chasing. And that's a lot for men too. That's a lot to expect of them, to take all of those decisions and to lead. But I do think it's very important that we're leaders in our own life, that we do go after what we want, that we do learn the skills that we need in order to get what we want in love and in life. Because just like everything in life, love is actually a skill. It's a muscle you can build. It's something you can learn how to do more effectively. But the key thing is to not just waste time hoping that the right things happens or waiting for a decision to be made. Indecisiveness is a huge problem. And every time that I talk about this with women, they're like, what do you mean? Like, why do I need to be decisive in my life? And I'll tell you why, is because if any of you have ever spent more time than you wanted to in a relationship that wasn't serving you, you can comment or you can put a little like in the chat bar or something like that, or send a heart through the video. If you've ever not listened to your gut when you needed to listen to your gut, that's another example of not being decisive. If you've ever stayed with friends with benefits or casual dating when deep down you wanted something more, that's another example of not being decisive. Or if you've ever felt like you put up with behavior that wasn't great behavior because you weren't sure how to speak your truth and you were afraid of rejection or afraid that he would think that you were bitchy, that's another example of where we might not be decisive and it's costing us. It's costing us time by spending time with the wrong people. It's costing us emotional energy and heartbreak if we're putting up with behavior that isn't serving us. And it's really costing us the opportunity to meet someone amazing who can actually give us what we want. So often we just stay in kind of this holding pattern, and I don't want that for you in your relationships or in any part of your life. So the truth is that yes, absolutely women can make the first move, because why just wait for life to happen to you? That's not always going to get you what you want. But the other truth is, while you're making the first move, it's really important to do it in a way that's an invitation, that's feminine, that's an opportunity for the person to come towards you. Because let me tell you, it gets exhausting to be the one who's always pursuing things and going after things. And if you do that for too long in your love life, A, it might backfire. It might not get you the sort of man that you want. And B, it'll probably make you feel a little bit burnt out or emotionally vulnerable to keep going after that. So yes, you can make the first move, and I encourage you to be super decisive and to know what you want, to not let these opportunities to flirt, to mingle, to get into relationship, to have great dates, to make your relationship, if you're in a relationship, even more sexy and even more passionate. Don't let those opportunities pass you by, but don't feel like you have to grab the bull by the horns and get super aggressive and super assertive, because the skills that we need in the other parts of our life, building a career or, raising a family and having enough discipline with our children, going after our dreams if we have a big dream, all of that takes a certain level of tenacity and grit. And of course, the same thing is true in our love life, but the way that we approach it should be different if we're wanting to create a relationship that's harmonious, that's balanced, and that keeps the passion alive. So if you've ever dated someone that you felt like you could walk all over, or that you started shaming, maybe not even intentionally, or you started emasculating, you could probably tell that the sexual chemistry just evaporated in that relationship. Because even if you're a total boss babe, if you act that way with your husband or your boyfriend or a guy on a date, he's probably going to shrink. Like, he doesn't want to be controlled. Most people don't want to be controlled. He doesn't want to be controlled or manipulated or shamed or ridiculed. So sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing those things, but we can come across in a way that feels more intense than the situation warrants. So yes, I do want women to make the first move, but in a way that's an invitation and in a way that's playful, in a way that allows you to experience the man in his true, essence. If you're always the one being super forward and going towards something and always making it happen, of course you're going to get exhausted, but you also don't get to see the man's true character. So when you're the one making something happen, they're just kind of along for the ride, and it doesn't tell you that much about how they thrive during adversity. Will they pick up the ball if you drop the ball? If you're not feeling well, will they kind of step in and step up? Will they take care of you? If you're always the one making it happen, you're actually missing an opportunity to see who they are, what their priorities are, what they care about. So while I don't recommend being just overly passive, it is sometimes a decision to make the first move, in quotations, by actually not replying to a text for a while, or giving it some space and time, or replying with just an emoji instead of a huge long thing. So you can still be taking the first move and you can still be making the first move, but doing so in a way that's really feminine. And this is something that I work with my clients a lot, is how do you be in your feminine power? How do you feel totally grounded, centered, luscious, confident, beautiful, radiant, sexy, and still get what you want without feeling like you're just giving up? So the truth is that when women make the first move online, they have a better chance of getting into relationships. Only 20% of relationships start online. So if you're going to do online dating, make sure that you're doing it in the right way. I just did a training on this yesterday, and it's something that's going to be in my course, and we spend a lot of time talking about this anyway, but it's becoming more and more relevant. And about half of my clients meet their person online, and about half of my clients meet their person, through life and through meeting people organically, or in the wild, as we like to call it sometimes. But it's really important that as you make the first move, you do so in a way that feels authentic, and you do so in a way that's aligned with what you want. If you know clear as day, like, I don't want to lift a finger, I want him to plan every date, I want him to figure it out, then it will feel inauthentic for you to stray from that. However, it's also important to recognize that modern partnership is so different than it was even 10 years ago. Modern partnership, people are way busier. There's much more of a mix of gender and sexual orientation and preference, and there's also more of a mix of classical roles. Like in the past, maybe the woman was expected to do certain things around the house. Now there's plenty of guys that are stay-at-home dads or work-from-home dads, or the division of responsibility is different. And if you start it in the partnership, it doesn't mean that it can't change, but if you start a dynamic where you're the one who's always making something happen, then that might turn into a habit, and that might turn into a pattern, and that might turn into resentment. So the key is to be conscious about the patterns that you're creating, and to be at choice and to be decisive, including when the decision is not to reply for a little while, or to reply in a way that's a little more playful and not so direct. So I oftentimes will hear women say, well, I should be able to make the first move. And so this is what I told him. I said, here's my number, call me sometime. That's more than making the first move. That's like really telling someone what to do. It's kind of a command. When we say, call me sometime, or why don't we do this? Like, you can feel even as I'm saying it, it's kind of a penetrative energy, which is traditionally thought of as more masculine energy. Nothing wrong with that, but just to be aware of what that is and what that feels like. And it's nice to be led. Like, I love to be led. I'm sure there's a lot of men that love to be led. Of course, it's easier for them if the woman makes the plans. Like, who doesn't like that? But it just might not be satisfying enough for it to stick. So there's a ton of ways that you can be in your feminine, but still be making the first move. You can do that with your eyes. You can do that with your body language. You can do that with sharing your desires. I mean, there's a million ways that we do this that I work with my clients on, and those are just a few of them. But the main thing is to be conscious and intentional with it. And if you've just spent 12 hours at a busy day at work and you're in that mindset, be careful of moving that into your dating life, where it might have these patterns of attracting men who are not really that available or not really interested in a relationship, or who just want you to kind of handle everything. And if you're like most of the women that I work with, you're kind of done just having to handle everything, but it doesn't mean that you want to give up your dreams. So it's about finding that fine line of being in your feminine power, going for what you want, taking the first move, but in a way that's fun, playful, feminine, mysterious, and leading you closer to the type of relationship pattern that you want to set up. Now, that's true for online dating, that's true for when you meet someone in person, and then it's true for every stage of the relationship. There's a way that we can evoke the masculine to rise into his greatness, so to speak, when we're really in touch with our sensuality, our sexuality, when we're in touch with our heart and our vulnerability, and when we're in touch with our intuition and we're not just letting things slide under the rug, through the rug. That'd be hilarious. So we need to integrate our sexual center, our heart center, and our intuitive center. We need to integrate our body, our heart, and our mind so that we're aligned and clear on what we want, so that we're not ignoring red flags, and so that we're not unconsciously, dating from our head and just go straight forward, but we're also not leaving things, kind of off the table. If we're not able to be in our vulnerability and lead in that way by sharing how we feel, or if we're not able to be connected to our sensuality, then there's going to be a piece of the relationship that's missing. And I know many of you have been single for a long time. Of course you're craving companionship. I don't blame you for that. I want you to have companionship, and that's a juicy, delicious part of relationship, but it's typically not enough to keep it going. So we need to have our sensual self. We need to have our playful self. And we also need to have our badass self, the part of us that's like, that doesn't really work for me. Here's what would feel better. Are you up for that? And if the person is like, no, being willing to move on or to walk away. So relationship is more and more complicated with the different apps and different relationship structures and people being busy and all of that. And so if you're ready to be led into creating a great relationship, if you're ready to attract a man who's more in his masculine, and if you're ready just to have some loving support from me and other amazing women as you're navigating this journey of love, then I would love to hear more about what you're struggling with and what you really want, and see if I can help you. And if not, no worries, but if I can, then we can talk a little bit more about that. So you can put I'm going to put in the comments a link to book a call if you want to have a free 45-minute call with me or someone from my team. Again, totally free, but it's an opportunity for you to get clear on what you need, what you want, and how to find this feminine essence where you can still move towards your dreams, but not in a way that's pushing away the right person. So thank you for listening and tuning in. Nicole, it's great to see you. Maria, it's great to see you, and everyone else who joined. I will see you ladies next Wednesday, and in the meantime, have a great rest of your evening. Mwah. Hi, Svetlana. Nice to see you. Bye.